Well, Run Port Douglas is coming up on the 5th of September. It is an amazing event with the most spectacular backdrop. And two of the event's ambassadors are Olympians and Australian running absolute legends, Andy Buchanan and Jess Stenson. Guys, good to see you. Great to have you both part of this incredible event. And I know you've both got a passion for it. I'm looking forward to talk about that. Andy, if I can start with you, you have called Run Port Douglas the best half marathon course in the world. Now, what makes it so special?
Yeah, I think it's just being a Victorian. It's all about the location, and I grew up going to many different events around Australia with my parents, and I'd watch them run. And I just think Port Douglas is something unique. I think the course is really special. The finish line on the beach is awesome, and I think as runners we get too obsessed with running fast times, and I think we should think about going and enjoying the event for where it is. And we're so lucky in Australia here to have such beautiful beaches and rainforests, and Port Douglas ticks all those boxes.
Jess, what a busy few years for you. 3 Olympic Games. You've medalled at each of your 3 Commonwealth Games, including the gold medal in Birmingham, which I was very lucky to be cheering from the side and saw you cross the line there, which was just awesome. So thanks for that great memory. You've broken the Aussie women's marathon record, 2:21:24. And in between all that, you've had a couple of kids as well, and the third one on the way. Just how do you fit it all in?
I have a great support team. I think, I look back on my childhood and reflect, and I guess that inner drive was always there. My siblings were very sporty. Mum and dad just lived and breathed, footy, netball on the weekends in winter and tennis in the summer. And we always just loved, I guess, striving to be our best as a family. And when I sort of discovered marathon running in my early 20s and found this opportunity to travel and represent Australia, I really fell in love with that feeling. And so I guess I find time to fit it all in because I do love it. And my husband Dylan loves it too. He's a sort of 800, 1500 meter runner, and he's now doing some coaching too. So we just find ways to make it work. And I'm fortunate to have the wholehearted support of my family as well, because we've all been in this together from the very beginning. And now Billy and Ellie are coming along for the ride, and they're enjoying it too.
Awesome. Just through that incredible list of titles of yours, what's the special one to you? What do you think you love the most out of those?
Yeah, look, the Commonwealth Games win was incredibly special, and crossing that finishing line was a feeling that I've never been able to fully describe. I just felt so fulfilled and almost complete in that moment. But as I alluded to earlier, my family means so much to me. And I fast forward to Paris in 2024, and that I'd say was my highlight running experience in life. And it was a bit of a full circle moment. We went to the Sydney 2000 Olympics as a family to watch. And so to be together 24 years later in Paris, I had mum, dad, my 2 siblings, my husband, mother-in-law and kids there, and a great team around me, like Andy and Sinead, Jen. We had a fantastic marathon team, and it was so much fun. And I did achieve what I was aiming for there as well, which helped.
Yeah. Jess, what do you remember about that competition day running that marathon in Paris?
I remember being excited about the course. We'd actually driven it 2 days earlier. So the men were racing on the Saturday, we were on the Sunday, and it was crazy. We went up the hill that I think was about the 27K mark. And I think my coach might have said, "Don't look back." And we've all looked back. It was like we were on a roller coaster. It was such a steep hill, but that almost takes the pressure off, because you're like, all right, this is just a course that you have to tackle in your own way, play to your own strengths. It almost evens out the competition a little bit more, because, there are women out there who can run 10 minutes faster than me, but you don't know if they can run well on hills. And so I was very excited on race day just to, see what was possible. And when you line up in the green and gold, you feel like you're out there with the rest of the country, and certainly your teammates as your allies. It's a special feeling. It's one that you can't really emulate when you go out to race on your own.
Yeah. Andy, what were Paris Olympics like for you?
Yeah, it was a crazy few weeks. I got the late call up, so I found out. I think it was about 3 weeks before the date of the race, and I got a call, and Athletics Australia were like, "Oh, we'll fly you into Montpellier," and I didn't even know where that was. So I was boarding in a plane heading to France, heading to a city I didn't even know where it was. But so yeah, it was a dream come true for me. I was really lucky, as Jess spoke about. We had a really good marathon team, and I got into the training camp, and it was just like, okay, we're all here to run for our country and do as best as we can. And standing on that start line, it was mixed feelings. I was really nervous, and I hadn't with a marathon. You train for so many weeks to physically, but also mentally prepare for what you're going to put yourself through. And I didn't have that. So I was really scared, but at the same time, I had nothing to lose. So it was, I don't know, I feel really privileged and really lucky, and it's something that it's got me wanting that feeling even more.
Fair enough. So let's talk about that time. So Paris 2024, you've left Paris, you've gone on, you've broken the Australian men's marathon record, 2:06:22, blistering pace. How has life changed in these last couple of years for you?
Yeah, it's really changed a lot. I'm a school teacher, and this year I'm actually, I suppose we'll call it a full-time athlete, which is a really big change because you can train all you want, but it all depends on how you recover from that training. So I'm taking my running a lot more seriously now, and I get to do a lot of cool things like come up to Port Douglas, be involved with this event, which I love. And it's running's always been a really big part of my life, but it's probably the center point of my life now. So it's yeah, I feel like I understand how privileged I am to live this life now, because for a long time I was working full time and I was not making any money through running, and it was a bit of a tough slog, but now it's yeah, it's a little bit different. So I feel very lucky.
So Andy, the obvious question is, can you go faster?
Yeah, I definitely think I can. I actually did a marathon in April of that year. I ran 2:08, and my marathon progression's been I started at 2:12, 2:10, 2:08, and every time I feel like I've finished the marathon and thought, I can run faster. And I had that feeling in Valencia again. So yeah, I think I can. I'm definitely aiming for 2:05 when the opportunity arises, but it's just hard to one, be in the right shape and be in the right race. And there's only so many races in the world where you can run super, super fast. So yeah, I think I can, and I'm looking forward to that opportunity.
Jess, let's talk about Run Port Douglas. What makes it special for you? What stands out about the event, and why did you want to get involved?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how it first came about, like whether it was hearing it from Bade or Andy, but either way, it was like a no-brainer. I love Port Douglas. It's a special place for our family. I mean, Dylan and I, or my husband and I, quite early on in our relationship, had the opportunity to head up there when there was an event called the Great Barrier Reef sort of running festival. And so we were there in 2015, fell in love with the nature. So obviously 4 Mile Beach is spectacular, but I've always loved rainforests and that real lush sort of country. So heading up to Mossman and then even further up into the Daintree, it's my happy place. And so we ended up going back there. Look, I think a few times when I was pregnant with Ellie in 2023, we took our son Billy there and he fell in love. It turns out he's obsessed with coconuts, so it's a good place for him. He's in his element running around collecting coconuts. And so, yeah, I got to witness over a decade ago, what a running event meant for that community and the people who were there at the time. And it was quite sad when there wasn't an event on offer. So to hear that Bade and his team put this event together last year and looking to grow it, it makes so much sense. Such a beautiful location, and that 4 Mile Beach, running along it is it's dreamy. It's such firm sand and there's no real camber. It's so much about the course to love, and actually driving it. We were there again last week on a family holiday, and there's this element of the course that I love where at about 7Ks in, you go up a hill and get to see Port Douglas. There's a lookout and then come back down it. And there's actually a king and queen of the mountain for that segment. I think that'll be a really unique and exciting challenge on the course that you don't really see being offered in many half marathons.
Andy, you did it last year, had a bit of a run of the course, and you've sort of run along the beach there. What was it like for you? What did you make of it?
Yeah, so I was in Cairns on a training camp, and that's how I met Bade. And he's like, "Oh, come up and do this course." And he said, "Oh, it finishes on the beach." And being from Bendigo, I like the beach, but I'm not a massive fan of the beach. And every beach I've ran on there's been a massive camber. It's normally blowing a gale. It's about 10 degrees. And I was like, "Oh, look, I'll go up," but I wasn't really expecting too much. And Bade took us up to Port Douglas, and I just fell in love. And Tim and I, we didn't run the whole course, but we ran a lot of it, and we finished along the beach. And it was such a nice feeling. Often when you're on the beach, you feel like you're never getting anywhere because you can see so far. Whereas with this, it was like the beach couldn't go long enough because it's such a nice sand to run on, and I really loved it. Yeah, I got to witness the race last year. Unfortunately, I couldn't race it, and seeing everyone cross the finish line, and you can see them for a few K coming along the beach. I think it's got to be one of the best finish lines in Australia. So yeah, can't wait to get up there again this year.
Yeah, so Andy, that was pretty cool. So last year you handed out the first medal, and then you stayed pretty much until the last runner was in. What were your memories of what you saw as people came across the line there?
Yeah, just pure elation, I think. And I think a lot of the people that are doing this, they're probably signing up for their first 10K or half marathon, and we're seeing a really big boom in running at the moment. And I know there's something special about like finish line feels, and even if you're not running, you get fully invested in the journey. And it's one of my, like Jess spoke about her happy place. It's one of my happy places, and it was nice just kind of hanging out there and handing out medals, because there was normally for us the finish line's quite stressful and you're pretty fatigued, whereas it was good fun for me.
The finish line can be a good place.
It can be. No, Jess and I know we know the finish line at Valencia, and we really like that finish line.
It is a good one. One thing I love about Port Douglas as well, I was just going to say, there's a 2K run. So and that's held later in the day so that parents can finish their run and then watch their kids finish. I think that will be a really cool finish line to be at as well, the kids 2K. Well, it's not just for kids, but yeah, I think there'll be a lot of families all getting involved.
Andy, you mentioned that boom in running at the moment, and it is incredible. You know, the resurgence and the popularity of people going out running now, and park runs and community runs are enormous. Jess, what's that like to see your sport get that sort of attention that everyone now realizes they can get out there and be part of running?
Yeah, I love it. I love reflecting on my first marathon in 2012 when the Olympic A qualifying standard was 2 hours and 32 minutes. And I think you'll have to run 10 minutes faster than that now to qualify. And that's a product of the running boom and so many more people getting involved and science, technology, training methods evolving. And it's like even just being in Port Douglas last week, there was so many runners out and about. Some you could tell like backpackers, and then there were locals, there were clubs. And that wasn't the situation 10 years ago when we were there. So it's just everywhere now. And I have always been a big believer in the physical and mental benefits of sport, but running in particular I love because you can get out in nature and you can have a 20-minute window and still get a lot out of it. It's a really time sort of efficient sport, and it's simple. So the more people running, the better, I say.
Yeah. Just what's your competition schedule look like for the next few years? What's the plan? What do you want to do next?
Well, I do hope to get back to my best, and I know that's ambitious, like logistically, physically, mentally. As a mum of 3, it'll be full on, but that's my goal. So this baby's due sort of end of August, early September, pretty much run Port Douglas weekend. And yeah, if I can be back competing by sort of April, August-ish next year, that would be great. But I don't want to put too much time pressure on it, knowing that, there'll be a lot to juggle. And I just really want to be enjoying this sport for as long as possible. So I don't want to do anything silly. It'll be prioritising health and just chipping away. And my coach and I have done it a couple of times before that come back. And one thing I love about coming back from pregnancy and giving birth is you just starting from such a low level again, and you get to really enjoy that progress. So I'll just be celebrating the progress and seeing where I end up.
Sounds like a good plan. Andy, for runners, and you've done the bit of the course up there at Port Douglas now, but for runners who might be fronting up for their first half marathon or even their first marathon, what advice can you give?
Yeah, I think with a half marathon, you've got to get to 16, 17K still feeling okay. So patience is probably the main piece of advice I have, and don't get carried away at the start line. And the race isn't won in the first 2K. You can probably lose it in the first 2K, but just go nice and steady, run your own pace, and try not to get too carried away, because it is a long way. And Jess and I have both ran races where we've gone out too hard, and it's it definitely takes a bit of that enjoyment out of running if you're hurting and you're still a fair way from the finish line.
Yeah, Jess, anything you'd add?
Maybe just a point on fueling and hydrating. So making sure you are respecting the distance and eating an energy-rich, like carbohydrate-rich meal, maybe the night before, certainly before the run, and practicing that in training so that you know that your guts will tolerate what you plan to eat. And then, if it is a bit warmer out there, making sure you're taking on the fluids. And this course has plenty of refreshment stations, which is great.
Andy, for you last year, you talked about the finish line. Any other memories from the event you saw last year?
Yeah, I think the excitement at the start line, and because it was the first time the race had happened, and just the buzz that had, and probably, I don't know, I've never been in Port Douglas before, but just the whole weekend, it felt like the whole place was really buzzing. And it was so just for me, the whole day was an awesome day, and just even the whole weekend, seeing so many runners in Port Douglas enjoying what Port Douglas has to offer was a really big highlight.
Andy, for you, what's your focus over the coming months and the year ahead?
Yeah, so I've got Gold Coast Half Marathon it's actually 2 and a bit weeks now. So we're kind of getting to the pointy end of things. So looking forward to that. Not really too sure what is after that, but I am starting to have one eye on crazy enough. It's nearly that time where we can qualify for LA Olympics. So that's kind of in the back of my mind a little bit in chasing a fast marathon again.
Can we get you running at Port Douglas sometime?
Yeah, I'll be running this year. I don't know how fast I'll be running, but I'll be there and running. I think I might do the 10K, but we'll see how I'm tracking.
Awesome. That'd be great. It'd be great to just see you out there. And Jess, we understand you're going to be a little bit busy in September. That's fair enough.
It might be a bit ambitious to try and run it this year.
But let's try. We'll pencil you in maybe for 2027.
Absolutely.
But you'll be there in spirit, which is great.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks very much. It is awesome to have both of you as ambassadors for this incredible event. As at the forefront of Australian marathon running, and your opinion and the fact that you endorse this event means a lot. And it's exciting for the people who are coming to run here to know that you guys are behind it too. So thanks for what you're doing. Don't forget, if you haven't entered and you want to, runportdouglas.com.au. All the information's there. You can check the joint out. But guys, thanks very much. And I hope we'll see you in Port Douglas sometime in the next near future.
Thanks,
sure.
Brett.
What a great destination for a half marathon to be right here.
Yeah, the 4 Mile Beach, I don't know, a lot of you guys are locals, you know what it's like, but it is such a great spot for a run, and hopefully you guys are feeling good when you get onto the beach and you can power home those last 4K.